have a pretty big reading for you today. So, I prepared some notes because this is a big one, and it all started with some ravens. Y'all know I love my ravens. So, I pulled four cards. I've got the Ten of Swords. Don't freak out. I know that one looks scary. The King of Wands. The Two of Swords. She's not my favorite. And the Five of Swords. So we have a lot of swords, which is a lot of intellect, clarity, the mind, anything having to do with the mind, and intelligence. So let's get into it. This is why I pulled this spread. So I was sitting inside my apartment and I could hear the ravens. Let me adjust this desk. There we go. There was a raven outside cawing at me. They do this sometimes when they want me to come outside, when they want my attention. So it was sitting on like an electrical post, and it was cawing and it was really loud. So as soon as I walked outside on my balcony to go look for the raven, I saw a giant brown UPS truck. And I've been getting visions of like delivery trucks and things like that. I've been calling in like big packages. So I was like, oh, that's something. There's something there. And I just sat outside and the raven was just continued to call. And then when it stopped, I went inside and I was like, there's a message in there. What message do you have for me? So overall, the battle is over. The war is over. That has been a common theme. So it might not feel like it just yet, but the ending is complete. So, Ten of Swords. I'm just going to read to y'all from my notes because this is pretty long. Your life is getting easier. The wounds are still tender. They are healing. Living is healing work. You don't have to fight to heal anymore. Living is your new healing work. Laughing is healing work. The Ten of Swords, it often looks dramatic, but here it's a clearing. It is not catastrophe, it is clearing. Also, I saw a bird funeral like a week ago. We have grackles in Central Texas. So a grackle, it's about the size of a blue jay, maybe a little bigger. And the males are black and the females are brown. And I was on my morning walk and I saw one of the black grackles, so a male, like flying and then falling and then flying and then falling. And its body looked normal, but I was like, maybe it has a neurological situation going on because, like, I don't know what's going on with this bird, but it was flopping, and I was like, oh, it's these are its last moments. And then all of a sudden, all these other grackles flew in, and they landed on top of the wires that right above where the grackle was passing away, and all the grackles just stayed there and waited with it until it stopped flopping, it stopped moving. And it's like immediately when that grackle on the ground was done moving, it unalived, then all of the other grackles flew away. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so honored. I got to witness like a grackle passing, almost like a grackle wake and funeral. And I just imagined like the soul leaving that grackle's body and it just like flying off with the rest of the grackles. And that gives me chills. It was really beautiful, and I was like, "That's an ending. It's an ending, and then of course there's going to be a beginning." And so to me, that's what this Ten of Swords is. There's no more to carry, and the worst of whatever particular pain or pattern or narrative that you were dealing with, it's done. It's run its course. It's done. The swords in the back of this person. Sorry for laughing. It's just kind of gruesome. That's not an ongoing attack. It is leftover residue, and this card is saying it's done. You can put this behind you. Next, King of Wands. Love to see this. Fire, power, forceful energy, confident, decisive. You're getting stuff done. This is reclaim your vision in your fire era. Bad B mode activated. Even though the king is masculine, he's also very mature. Okay? The king takes action against injustice and oppression. And I have a story that might relate. So when I tell personal stories, it's because there's a lesson in there for you. So The king takes action against injustice and oppression. I'm connected to mermaid and siren energy. We balance the scales of justice. We speak up for oppressed people and we speak on injustice when we see it. I just started a new podcast with my friend Jillian called Unbothered. It's on YouTube at We Are Unbothered. And we talk about systemic oppression in the workplace and how we're just done with that. And so we're calling it out. That fits with that theme. You may have posted something online that sparked a conversation. You may be feeling like a protagonist online when you speak up about oppressive systems. So this is your rising after the 10. You got your spark back. Just like when I was speaking on the grackles, all of them leaving once the other one unalived, like that's kind of what this is giving, okay? You're activated. You're going in a new direction. The King of Wands is the visionary, the bold creator, the magnetic leader who channels divine energy through their purpose. Okay? Your soul has a mission. And the way you can tell when you're following your soul's mission is it lights you up. If you know, so like on this new podcast that I created with my friend, like we just have so many ideas. I was like, we should start a media company. This is what I want to put behind a paywall. This is how I want to do Patreon. This is how I want to, these are the guests that I want to have on future shows. Like it's just like boom, 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 boom. We just have all of these ideas. We're just overflowing with ideas. I pulled the Ace of Cups like a couple of days ago. So when you're on your soul's mission, it's just, you're just going to be like overflowing with ideas and creativity. And you don't have to stay in that space. Like that is, things are going to ebb and flow. So you're not meant to always feel amped up. There will be moments of rest, Two of Swords, which we're going to get into in a moment. So you are leading. You're going in the right direction. And the way you can see this showing up in your real life is see what lights you up. Rituals could be significant for someone. Okay, now let's go into Two of Swords. Choose from clarity, not fear. Okay, we have a lot of intelligence here. She's also got a blindfold on. This kind of feels like meditation. We also have some water behind her and some earth. So bridge between worlds is also what this is giving. So this is about making decisions with precision. You may need to meditate to find the answers that are inside of you. I don't love meditating. I like to be on the move. And so I'll get downloads when I'm washing my hair in the shower, or when I'm going for a bike ride, or going for a walk in nature, or when I'm sitting with my trees. So for me, it's like the washing of the hair, the bike riding, the walking. This is left hemisphere, right hemisphere of the brain, like you're using left brain, right brain. And when I was in therapy and we did EMDR, we would do tapping like this, and I would bring up a memory, and it like, I'm not a therapist, but it does something cool to the brain where it rewrites or overwrites old systems. So for me, it's like when I'm doing these repetitive physical motions, that's when I get some downloads. So if that's what you relate to, see where that goes. You know, I am not the type of person that's just going to like sit around and meditate or meditate for 30 minutes every single day. No, I want to be sitting in nature, sitting with my trees, going for walks outside, because that's when I see my ravens and my hawks. Like that's when the universe gives me a lot of signs and a lot of downloads, is when I'm in nature. So if you can do that, if you can be out in nature safely, I would recommend that if that feels in alignment to you. So more on this Two of Swords. So this card, it's in the middle of my spread, and it may represent like this current moment, a pause, an impasse, or a need to look inward before acting. So it's like we have this like big action, and then we have this like think before you act. So plan and act. And this could also just be like duality as well. And then again, we've got the Five of the Swords and the Ten of Swords. So I also like this is the cycle. And the war is over, the battle is over, the wounds are still fresh. But she's also like a sacred pause. Like it's okay to take a breath, take a breather. Resting is progress. You have to rest to recharge your battery, okay? Even our devices have to be restarted and turned off every once in a while. that is still making progress because you have to rest before you can move forward. So, two is about partnerships as well. So, like I said, I have a new podcast with a partner named Jillian. Y'all may be doing some projects with another person. And it could be someone you called in. Oh, here's something else I want to say about this Two of Swords. Like when I was on the phone with my podcast partner yesterday, Jillian, I said, I called you in. She's a graphic designer, a creative director of design, and I'm a copywriter and a creative director of messaging. And I called in someone that could do the graphics for my book covers, podcast art, and just like any kind of graphic art that I need online. I'm also working on an Oracle deck, and I want someone to do the art part. And she was like, yes, I want to do all of that with you. And she goes, I called in a copywriter. And she's like, I actually saw your very first LinkedIn post like back in April, which is when I started my LinkedIn. And it's now December 7th when I'm filming this. So the universe is going to put people in your path. That's why I'm telling you this. The universe is going to put people in your path, and it's up to you to make a move. And when you do, it's just like sparks. Okay, let's get into the Five of Swords. You don't have to think of it as like I won or I lost. I like to say it's my world, I win. I win in every game I play because that's how I like to live my life. But you can also, if you don't feel like you won, that's okay. You can do things differently now. And when I say a battle is over, a war is over, and you won no matter what, here's what you won. New skills, resilience, and those are resources that nobody can take away from you. So you are always going to come out of a battle with something new. And this could be energetic. This doesn't have to be physical. So I don't think failing really exists. You do something, you learn from it, you acquire new skills, and then you move on. That's how you level up, and that's also how you alchemize. And if some of you are posting content and you want to make your mess your message, that is how you alchemize your pain and turn it into power. So Five of Swords is often deals with like mental conflict. There can be ego battles, situations where nobody really wins, but you've been trying to prove yourself and defend your position or outthink your way of a situation. And to me, the Ravens are saying like, step back, pause. Not everything is worth fighting for. Like there are some things you're going to have to let go of, and that's okay. And it's up to you to decide when and how you let go of something. So for example, like for me, I have been looking for a full-time job since I got laid off September 2023. So for about 2 years and 4 months, I've been looking for a full-time job. And my podcast partner, Jillian, she was like, I'm done doing that. She's like, I'm freelancing. I'm starting my own business and entrepreneurial endeavors and creative projects. She's just like, I give up on looking for a full-time job. And if you have been looking for a full-time job in 2025 or 2024 or 2023, you know that the current job market is garbage. And that is because what Jillian and I have discovered is because of AI. Say what you want, but the ATS, the thing that scans your resumes, it's scanning those resumes before it gets to a person, and then it's ranking those resumes, and then it's creating an AI summary. So it's like our resumes are already a summary of our work history, and now AI is making a summary of our summary. And then it's ranking its own summary against other candidates that apply for the same job. And that ranking system is sent to the recruiter, and they're just doing like the top whatever percent. So I've applied to thousands of jobs, well over 1,000 jobs in over 2 years, and I've gotten like a 1-digit number of interviews. And I have 13 years of experience in my field. So the math isn't mathing. Like applying to jobs online is a losing game in my experience. So when Jillian was like, I'm not doing that anymore, I heard my guide say like, that's your sign. Let it go. So I have a part-time job and I have a lot of creative projects that are in the works. And I'm just going to, whatever energy I was giving to looking for a full-time job, I'm now pouring that into my creative projects. I say this because this might resonate with some of you. If there's something you've been giving your energy to and it is not producing the outcome that you want, and you're like, I've been doing this for a long time, like over a year or whatever, And you're like, if it's not working, maybe it's time to switch it up. So 5, change. Okay, that was a lot of notes. All right. The 5 is here to suggest that releasing the need to be right or to force a resolution, it's time to release that. It's time to let that go. 5s could also be a portal of change. But again, overall, this battle, it is done. It's time for you to do something else. And I hope that was helpful. Also, let me do a plug real quick. Readings. If you want a tarot reading, I did those over the phone. And if it's your first time with me getting a reading, it's only $25, and that will get you a 15-minute phone reading. You can ask me questions, I'll pull cards, and we'll cover as much as we can in 15 minutes. And if you want a second reading, then those start at $55 for a 15-minute reading, and I'll have a link below of where you can book it. And if you want to listen to me and Jillian's podcast at We Are Unbothered, I'll link that below as well. Thank you.